Financial Grown-Up Guide, 5 essential things you must know to freelance like a financial grown-up with Fly to Fi's Cody Berman. You're listening to Financial Grown-Up with me, certified financial planner Bobby Rebell, author of How to Be a Financial Grown-Up. And you know what? Being a grown-up is really hard, especially when it comes to money. But it's okay. We're going to get there together. We got this. Hey friends, welcome to what I believe will be one of the most compelling financial grown-up guides we've done here at the podcast because it is about something you guys have asked me about. Regulars know I am a big believer in multiple income streams, and doing that often involves side hustles, aka freelancing, aka the gig economy. And for that, we have recruited my friend Cody Berman. Some of you may know him from his podcast, The Fi Show, and his blog, Fly to Fi. By the way, FI, F-I, stands for financial independence. For those of you who don't know the lingo, that we're gonna get you guys caught up on all those acronyms. Now he has a new project. We're gonna get to that soon. Hey, Cody.
Hey, how's it going, Bobby? Really excited to be here.
I am so happy to have you here. First of all, give us a sense of your background and how you came to this whole FI movement and what you do, because you're big on freelancing, which is what we're going to be talking about.
Absolutely. So I kind of stumbled into financial independence actually when I was 19. So I was really fortunate to kind of get that really early in my career. And I kind of knew from an early age that I did not want to work in corporate America. I didn't like having a boss. I hated getting told what to do. So I was like, how can I figure out a way where I can get paid on my own time, doing things that I liked, doing things that I enjoyed, and I didn't have someone breathing down my neck telling me exactly what to do. And that's kind of how I fell into freelancing and building my own businesses.
And it's perfect because there's so many more opportunities in this gig economy for people to freelance, either as a side hustle when you have a primary job, which is something that I did when I was a full-time TV anchor. I was side hustling, writing my book. So you can do that if you have a full-time job, as I said, especially with all the technology available, but you can also transition or start as full-time freelance and make that your primary source of income, or it could be a hobby. You can do side hustling and freelancing just for fun. It doesn't necessarily have to be your main income stream. So I love talking about freelancing. So we're going to get to some tips for that. And then also we're going to share, Cody has a new project that is also going to help everybody that is interested in getting more into freelancing in the most efficient and, for many of you, because it does matter, money always matters, in the most profitable way, getting the best bang for your buck by learning what you're doing from someone who's really experienced like Cody, right?
Absolutely. I really like what you just brought up there is you don't have to want to be the full-blown digital nomad like I wanted to. Like I was the guy who just hated corporate America. I really didn't like dressing up every day, waking up early. But then like my business partner, Julie, who I've been working with, last year on the side, this is in addition to her day job, she made 40 grand just doing freelancing and blogging. So this is something that you could do a couple hours a week. You can replace your full-time income. Freelancing is basically just how hard you want to work and how bad you want it.
Exactly. And by the way, I do want to just mention, first of all, welcome everyone to our regulars, to our new listeners. Thank you for joining us. If you are looking for the classic episodes where we talk to high achievers who share personal money stories and lessons from them, we've had some schedule changes recently. So those now drop on Tuesdays. And then on Fridays, these financial grown-up guides like this one with Cody, that is when you get your financial grown-up guides, which are your tip episodes and sometimes solo episodes from me giving you specific ideas on how to be a financial grown-up. Okay, let's get to the heart of what we are here to talk about. Cody, you have brought with you 5 tips, and sneak peek, we're going to actually have a bonus thing that I really wanted to add to what you had to say so that we can all be financial grown-ups and freelance in the gig economy. Here we go, Cody. All right, what's your first tip?
All right, so tip number 1 is take the time to get set up intentionally. So what this means, no matter what you're doing freelancing, there are so many different options. There's freelance writing, there's audio editing, there's graphic design, you can do social media, you can do email marketing, but take the time to kind of learn the craft so you're like really good at that one thing. I wouldn't recommend going in and just trying like 17 different things at once, but if there's one thing that you're kind of interested in, take the time to kind of get set up and know exactly how you can be a master of that craft and have other people want to hire you for that gig.
So what does that mean? Give us an example of something you would do to set up intentionally.
Absolutely. So let's go with freelance writing, because there are a lot of freelance writers in this financial space that we're in. It's a pretty big thing in FinCon. It's a conference that we go to every year. A lot of people do this freelance writing on the side. get to know the people within that freelance writing community. Maybe read some blogs, read some articles, start analyzing how are they breaking down these articles? How are they ranking for key terms using things like SEO, which is search engine optimization? Just kind of start to learn the ins and outs of that specific freelance gig, and that will really lend you an advantage over a lot of other people who kind of just jump in blindly.
Let's move on to the second tip, which is something that I have really struggled with.
So the second tip I have is to have a niche. And the reason for this, some people can do okay diversifying and writing about a bunch of different things. So I'm still going to use freelance writing just for the sake of example here. But if you have a niche, say that you write about sports, but instead of just writing about sports, you write about women's soccer in Europe. If you're the one guy or girl who writes specifically about women's soccer in Europe, you're going to be a hot commodity. People are going to be like, I want this person to write this article for me because they know the lingo, they know all the players, they know the ins and outs, and they're just like the best person at this thing. So if you can really niche down within a certain area of freelance writing instead of just like, hey, I write about sports, or hey, I write about finance in general, that's where you can start kind of getting more high caliber clients who want you for your specific skill set.
Because you can kind of own that space.
Exactly. Yeah. You're the guy or the girl for that space, and people know that.
All right. The next thing is about investing a little bit, right?
Absolutely. And so invest is definitely a tongue in cheek here because some of the free tools that you can use to kind of accelerate. Still going to use freelance writing in this example just for the sake of example, but there are free tools that can make your craft so much better. So with freelance writing, there's tools like Grammarly, or there's tools like Hemingway, or there's tools like CoSchedule's Headline Analyzer. There's all these little tips and tricks, and it's amazing what you can do in 2019 with the internet to kind of just boost your craft and take it to the next level. You don't have to go sifting through tons of textbooks and all these different articles anymore. You have these free online resources and tools. So no matter what your freelance gig is, whether you're doing audio editing, whether you're doing video editing, social media, there are all these really fascinating, cool tools. I'm not going to get into all of them, obviously, because there's so many different routes you can take, but just kind of get to know the market and know the resources and tools that you have available to you.
And it's important when we say invest, some of these are free. So, really, what you're investing is your time in learning about them, which is a great thing, too.
Absolutely. Of course, some of them are going to be paid, but there are pretty much free alternatives to every paid option in the freelance economy.
Let's go to number 4, and that's about paperwork, which I really hate. Virtual or otherwise, digital, even if it's digital, I hate it.
I can totally agree there, but it is really important with freelancing that you at least draft up some type of contract. If you're working with a client, especially if it's like a repeating client where you're doing multiple projects for them, have a contract, and in that contract, talk about the scope of your work. So let's say you're doing freelance writing and they just send it back and give you 7 different edits. That's going to eat up into a lot of your time. And like I said before, we're all about promoting the most efficient use of your time to make money. If they're sending you back an article 7 times so you can make edits, that seems a little bit crazy. So maybe in your document, in the contract, you can say, hey, this is like up to 2 edits is fine. But after that, we're not doing that anymore. So at least just identify the scope of your work and build out a contract that makes sense. And also like negotiate your rate, talk about exactly the terms and the things that you want done.
Right, because you don't want misunderstandings.
Absolutely.
The final one of your 5 tips is about creating systems, which is something I have struggled with. I actually have a VA that really has helped me.
Yeah, so creating systems is honestly crucial to kind of scaling and building out your freelance gigs. So creating systems in the sense that, let's say you're on a platform, there are some platforms where you can get freelance gigs called Fiverr and Upwork, or even through your own network, build some template emails or build some template messages that you would send to prospective clients saying, hey, I'm this person, these are my qualifications, I'd love to do this for you, talk about some of your accolades. If you kind of have these already built, then don't have to go back and type a multi-hundred word email or a multi-hundred word message every single time. So I've done a lot of this where I have like 5 or 6 different templates depending on what the gig is, depending on the scope of the project, and I can just kind of plug and play. Obviously, I try to personalize it a little bit so I don't seem like a robot, but if you can create these systems, you can really maximize your efficiency.
And therefore take on more clients and have more money.
Absolutely, that is the goal.
All right, the bonus tip that I have asked you to talk about is really about something I've done so much in my career is interviewing people that know what they're doing and maybe know more than you. That's something we're going to talk about your course in a minute. In the course, I was really impressed because I was able to get a sneak preview of this new course you have. You do interviews with people that really know what they're doing. So let's talk about tapping into other people's brains.
Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the biggest and coolest things ever. Even if you're listening to this podcast, You're trying to tap into people's brains, maybe things that you don't know about. Hopefully, I've taught you a thing or two so far. If you're listening to Bobby, she's a masterful interviewer. And there are just so many cool things that you can learn from listening to podcasts like this, following other things. But in this course, we really made it a point to start interviewing the industry experts. So Steve Stewart, for example, he's an audio editing master. He's been doing it for 20 years. We got to pick his brain. He sat down with us for 30 minutes, gave his best audio editing tips, how to get gigs, how to maximize your efficiency, how to do it in the quickest and most reliable way possible. For freelance writing, we sat down with Paula Pant, who's been freelance writing for over 10 years, made over $200,000 a year doing it. So it's just all these industry experts who are so kind to just lend their knowledge. And the thing is, I've noticed anyway, especially in this niche, people are so generous with their knowledge and time. People aren't hoarding and saying, oh, I don't want other people to know about this cool tool or this way to negotiate, or they're so helpful with telling you exactly the process that they took and how you can follow in their footsteps.
And on that note, I do want to talk about this new course you have, which is all about freelance writing. I mean, technically the name is the Freelancer's Toolkit. Is that correct?
Yep. And so we talk about freelance writing, we talk about audio editing, graphic design. But the main thing is, if you have any type of skill, we show you how to monetize it, either whether it's through networking, Upwork, Fiverr, or any other platform.
Right. So I was able to preview the course along with my virtual assistant, the one that got me organized. I mean, for me, my favorite thing was listening to all these mentors because it was kind of like when I was writing my book, How to Be a Financial Grownup, I did what I call a mentor tour. And I went, and anyone that I thought was smart that was willing to meet me for coffee or whatever, I met with them, whether it was David Bach or Gene Chatsky. I just listened to their wisdom. You basically created a shortcut. So people that may not know these experts get to hear from them.
That's what we wanted too. We don't want it to just be focused on myself and Julie, who my business partner. We want other people coming in. So it's not just like blindly follow the leader. We have all these different industry experts who have been proven. Like I said, like Steve Stewart's been 20 plus years in the industry. These people know what they're doing. They have processes, they have techniques, they have templates that work.
Okay, great. So let's talk about the offer because you are presenting the course. This episode drops on on June 28th. So just for a few days, people can get the course for a discounted price. You're going to actually give us a special link that we'll put in the show notes just for the Financial Grown Up listeners.
Absolutely, yeah. So this is the first time we're launching this course. We've been working on it for probably the past 6 months. Honestly, this past month, I've probably been pulling 16-hour days almost every day trying to get this thing ready. But we're doing an introductory offer at $197, which if you're in the course space at all, that is not expensive for a course with over 250 videos and a ton of different lectures and quizzes and homeworks. But we wanted our podcast listeners, we wanted our blog readers, we wanted people who knew who we were, what we were doing. If they're following us and they're really excited about this, we want them to get in at the lowest price possible. So the launch window that we're launching for right now is June 27th to June 30th. And then after that, we're closing the gates until probably August or September. So this is the one of the few times you can get in until probably a couple of months out from now.
And then what is the link for the Financial Grown Up listeners?
Yeah, so that is at goldcityventures.com/financial-grownup. And hopefully you can link that up in the show notes.
All right, Cody, where can people find out more about the course? And by the way, also about you and what you're up to, other things, because you don't just do this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all over the internet. So the course again is goldcityventures.com/financial-grownup. So that's where you guys can get your special link with your discounted price, or you can also just check out goldcityventures.com if you just want to learn more about us. I'm all over the place. So if you listen to this podcast, I also have a podcast called The FI Show. The FI Show stands for Financial Independence, as Bobby alluded to earlier. I also have a blog, Fly to Fi. And yeah, that's pretty much the places you can hit me up on the internet. I'm super quick to respond. I love hearing from listeners. I love just connecting with new people. And thank you so much for having me on today. This is a ton of fun.
Oh, absolutely. I also, by the way, I forgot to mention one of my favorite things about the course is the downloadable forms, which we didn't even talk about. But if you go on the course, just so you know, there's a lot of things you can download so that all that paperwork stuff we were talking about earlier, he basically gives you all the shortcuts. So before I let you leave, give us the discount, give us the link again.
Yeah, so it's goldcityventures.com/financial-grownup.
All right. Thank you so much, Cody, for helping us all with these tips on freelancing and getting us all a little bit closer to being financial grown-ups. Hey everyone, hope you enjoyed Cody's tips on freelancing as much as I did. Unfortunately, because it is after July 1 of 2019, his original discount offer for the course's launch is no longer available. However, He will likely bring it back in the future or bring back the course at least. I don't know about the pricing, but you can find out more information by going to Cody's website, which is flytofy.com. So be sure to follow him also on all the socials. On Instagram, he is at Cody D. Berman. And check out his website, as I said, for updates as well. All that is available and more in our show notes at bobbyrebell.com/podcast/Cody Berman. Thanks, everyone. Financial Grownup with Bobby Rebell is edited and produced by Steve Stewart and is a BRK Media production.